Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of MJ Everyday, a motivation-based episode for you guys today. A little bit of a different setting. I'm here at my house at the casa. It's just after midnight. I've just packed up my laptop for the day. I'm gonna head off to bed real soon and try to get some rest before I start bright and early again tomorrow morning. And I felt inspired to do this episode of MJ Everyday, this motivational episode of MJ Everyday, because I'm tired. It's been a long day. I really busted my ass today. I worked really hard today. I started early this morning before 6. I'm here now after midnight. And it reminded me of a few conversations that I had with people at the Arnold Sports Festival at the MassiveJoes Mega Booth earlier this year. And then further conversations that I had with people on the Crush It tour following the Arnold Sports Festival about passion. And I'm just gonna frame this up for you guys just so it gives you a bit of context and kind of where these conversations came from. So I had a few people ask me how I deal with burning out. How I deal with just getting kind of to a state where I need to kind of switch off for a week, or get away from social media for a bunch of time, or go on a holiday for a week and just zone out. I had a bunch of people ask me about that. Like, what do I do when I feel like I'm burning out? What do I do when I'm pushing too hard? What do I do when I feel like I need to zone out? And my answer to that question was, I never get that. I never experience that burning out feeling, that need to just get away feeling. Of course, I get tired like I am right now, 100%. I have periods of a few hours where, my brain might feel fried if I've spent a bunch of time doing something that's mentally intense, or, I have short periods of time where I'm tired and I need to recharge, but I never experience that feeling of a prolonged period of time where I need to just get away, where I need to escape, where I need to switch off and zone out. I never experienced that. And the reason why I never experienced that is because I'm truly insanely passionate about what I do. And you guys, you can see that through all of the social stuff as a bare minimum, all of the social stuff that I do, these episodes of MJ Everyday that I do every day, all the content that I produce that's 100% free. I'm incredibly passionate about what I do. I'm truly passionate about what I do, which is why I've never experienced that feeling of burning out, or that feeling of need to escape and switch off and zone out that I was getting asked about. And I then I heard a lot of people's feelings, unfortunately, at the Arnold, and I could see, because when I was telling them what I'm about to tell you guys, I could see it in their face. They were just like, shit, he's right. I don't like hearing it, but it's true. I heard a lot of feelings because my then response to when I was being asked this question and giving my answer that I don't experience burning out, I don't experience the need for escape, because I'm insanely, truly passionate about what I do. I then asked, I don't think that if you experience that, I don't think that you are truly passionate about what you do. I think you may think you're passionate about it, but I don't think you actually truly are. And I then asked the question, and this kind of, this concept I'm going to explain to you guys right now was kind of developed over the Crush It tour, because we were asked this type of question so much that between Doug Miller, Paul Revelia, Big Swolbait, and myself, we kind of developed this test for true passion. And there's two sides to it. On one side, you need to ask yourself, would you do what you are doing if there was no financial incentive for you to do it? If you weren't paid a cent to do what you were doing, there was no financial reward, there was no financial incentive, there was no financial drive for you to do what you're doing, would you still do it? That's one side of the question. The other side of the question is, if somebody gave you all the money in the world and you didn't have to worry about the finance side of things, you had $1 trillion, let's say, whatever, infinite access to finance, so that it wasn't even part of the equation, would you still do what you are doing. So you can look at it depending on whether or not you're financially motivated, because some people are financially motivated, some people aren't. I'm definitely not financially motivated to do what I do. So for me, I'd ask myself the first question: would I do what I'm doing if I wasn't paid a cent? My answer to that question is yes, 100% yes. A lot of what I do is free, like this, like MJ Everyday, like all the Instagram, the Facebook, a lot of the content that we do, the Snapchat, is free. It's all free. So I practically am doing what I'm doing for free. And then on the other side, if I ask myself that second question, if I had access to all the money in the world and I didn't have to worry about finance, would I do what I'm doing? The answer is also yes. And I really think that if you can answer at least one of those questions, but ideally both of those questions with a yes, then you are truly insanely passionate about what you're doing. If your answer to those questions is no, you have to take a deep look inside, guys, and you're probably not. You may think you're passionate. You may go through periods of passion about what you're doing, but you're not truly passionate about what you're doing. And that's why you experience periods where you're burning out, or you need to escape, or you need to zone out, or whatever it is, because it's not true passion, unfortunately, as it sounds. And then this is going to be a bit of a longer episode of MJ Everyday, because there's a lot that I want to get through here, and there's a lot of this kind of stuff that's been going through my mind since these conversations at the Arnold and the Crush It tour. I then had people ask, well, if this isn't if what I'm doing right now isn't what I'm passionate about, how do I find what I'm passionate about? And unfortunately, I really can't tell you guys how to do that. I really don't know. I really don't think there is a map, there is a logical step-by-step guide to figure out what you're passionate about. I think you just have to try as many things that interest you as possible. One thing that I can definitely guarantee you guys is, when you're not passionate about something, it's very easy to identify, because your answer to either one of those questions we just asked is no, or you hate what you do, in which case it's very obvious. But when you find what it is that you are passionate about, man, it'll just hit you in the face like nothing else. And you'll be doing shit like I do, like shooting these free videos after midnight, after an 18-hour day, because you're incredibly passionate about it. So I don't know how to find it, but I know that when you do find it, you will know that it is what you are insanely and truly passionate about. And if you haven't found it yet, keep looking, keep, trying different things, keep exploring things that interest you, keep your options as open as you possibly can. And then the final thing that I wanted to address in this episode is, people have come to me and they've said, fair enough, you're saying that would you do what you're doing if there wasn't any financial incentive, or would you do what you're doing if you didn't have to worry about finances because you had all the infinite access to finances, or all the money in the world, however you want to put it. But that's not practical, because a lot of people do have financial obligations, they do have financial responsibilities, and they can't try things and they can't pursue what they are truly passionate about, because my phone is going crazy at this time of night. That's everyone in the US, because the US is waking up right now trying to send me all this shit. But it's not practical, because pursuing what I am passionate about at this point in time doesn't pay the bills. And I 100% understand that, guys. I understand that practically, you've got financial responsibilities, you've got mortgages, you've got car loans, personal loans, children. You've got financial responsibilities, and you can't just drop everything and go and pursue what it is you're passionate about if there is no financial return. I 100% get that. I then have to ask you, I'm not looking at what you're doing with your time when you have to invest that time in getting a particular financial outcome, be it your 9-to-5 job or your 8-to-6 job, or let's say your 7-to-7 job. Let's take a 12-hour block of time from Monday to Friday and say your 7-to-7 job, including commuting and whatnot, that you have to dedicate to getting a financial return to meet your financial responsibilities. I'm not looking at that. I'm not talking about that. I'm then going to ask you, what are you doing with your most valuable asset, which is your time, outside of that 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday? What are you doing with your time between 7 p.m. to midnight or 1 a.m. every day? What are you doing with your time if you go to bed early and wake up early from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. every day? What are you doing with your Saturdays? What are you doing with your Sundays? How are you investing in that most valuable resource, which is your time that isn't dedicated to achieving a financial outcome to meet your financial responsibilities? And are you using that time to pursue what it is you're passionate about, where you don't have to worry about the financial return on that time investment? That's really then what it comes down to, guys. And I mean, really, if you find something you're insanely passionate about, you don't even need me to tell you this, because you already know you're spending every spare minute that you have pursuing it, because that is what you're truly passionate about. That's a wrap for today's episode of MJ Everyday. A little bit of a different episode, but I mean, I felt inspired to do it just because I tell you what, guys, I literally had this conversation at the Arnold, I reckon 10 or 15 times with 10 or 15 different people, and then probably again on the Crush It Tour another 10 times. So definitely over 20 times over that week of the Arnold Sports Festival and the week after. And, you know, it just, today in particular, a lot of stuff kind of happened that was crammed into my day today that got me thinking about it a lot. And I felt inspired to do this episode for you guys. So I hope a bunch of you take a lot out of it. I know it's different to what you're used to seeing on MJ Every Day, but you know, different is good. And anything that I can do to kind of inspire you guys outside of health and fitness, I think is a good thing as well. So that's a wrap for today's episode of MJ Every Day. As always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn your post notifications on, both on your mobile, your cell phone, and your desktop PC, so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel. Until tomorrow, or today, later on today, I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.